organized by Ikatan and conducted simultaneously here in Kuala Lumpur as well as in Segamat, Johor. Now, I'm indeed very pleased to be given this opportunity to say a few words, largely because of the fact that this is a very important OSH course for coordinators, which, as you are fully aware, the relevant legislation has been passed by Parliament, and it will be a matter of time before it will be implemented. Now, but first and foremost, let me talk here very frankly about my position. You know, as you all know, I served as the chairman of the National Institute of Occupational Safety and Health for close to 27 years as the chairman. And during the 27 years that I had the opportunity to serve as chairman, I had the opportunity to interact with all industries throughout the country. And from my interaction, I found that there is still a lot of work that needs to be done to raise the level of safety awareness in the country. Now, to me, why is safety important? Safety, as a matter of fact, I hope all of you will understand and appreciate. Safety is in fact a basic human right. And what is this basic human right? The basic human right of an employee, a worker, is to be able to go to work safely and return home safely. This is a basic right of an employee, of a worker. And to ensure that this happens, it is important that we have to get employers, employees, and the government working together in collaboration to reinforce the importance of safety at work. Now, very often, safety does not come to the mind of someone until and unless an accident occurs. Now, this is always the case because over the years I have observed that, you know, even when we want to conduct safety seminar, you know, we want to invite the participants to come. You will be surprised that the initial response will be very poor because they really don't see the importance of attending a seminar. They really don't see the importance of going for a training course, largely because they feel that they are safe. They feel that they are safe. They are all right. You see, why must I go and learn more about this safety and health? Now, but the only time when they realize that they should have done something which they have not done is after an accident has occurred. And then, after an accident has occurred, you know what is going to happen? Well, if it is not a serious case, well, he will have to be hospitalized because of the injury. And if it is a serious case, well, you know what could happen, and then the person dies. And that person dies is one thing. The very fact that he dies, it can also bring serious consequences to the family. Now, what is going to happen if that person happens to be the sole breadwinner of the family? The family needs to depend on him, you know, for a living, for livelihood, and yet he passes away. So this is something which I have realized over the years, that we haven't achieved what I would like to see, a safety culture, a sustainable safety culture in our country, making safety a way of life. You know, for example, I just give a very simple example. Now, if a person gets into a car, now how many of the drivers, before he even starts the engine and gets going, he will check, everything. He will check that, the car is in a good condition. He will check, make sure all the safety signals are in place in the event that there is an emergency. He has to apply those signals. He has to ensure that he is fit to drive. He has to ensure that he is not sleepy. He has sufficient sleep, especially when he drives a long distance. And there's a checklist. The checklist, which is so important. One of the things I can tell you, the safest things I can think of course, accidents do happen, but not that often. That is when you travel in an airplane. When you get into an airplane, the pilot, the commander, and the co-pilot, they have to check through various things, the checklist before the plane flies. But that is a plane. But how many of us, when we drive a car, we just wanted to check that the brakes are in good condition, the tires are in good condition? Until and unless an accident happens, and then you find, especially this is very common among all these lorry drivers. All of a sudden they say, the brake that doesn't work. Now, why in the first place he had not checked the brake? Even before he drives off, you see. So, these are things that have been taken for granted for too long. And this is the reason why I say, safety is important, because safety means what? It means your life. It means your family. It means so many things just to you. Things that you must cherish. Things that are so vitally important to you as a human being. So this is the reason why when I was in NIOSH, I put the National Institute to be in touch with all the industries in the country. And of course, as far as the Occupational Safety and Health Act 1994 is concerned, I would say that practically all the industries are subject to the Act except merchant shipping and except the armed forces. They are not required to implement the law. Other than that, all industries, anything that you can think of, oil and gas industry, chemical industry, construction industry, manufacturing industry, everybody has to apply. Even the government department, the department itself, they have got to apply the Occupational Safety and Health Act, because very often I found, that when I was there, I found out that, when the government tells the private sector, you must do this, you must do that, but government sector itself, they don't do it. For example, today, I'm very frank with you, how many government departments and agencies in the country have a safety and health committee? I can assure you that not more than 40% have. 60% they don't have. And how I found out, when I went to the office, I asked them, do you have a safety and health committee? They asked me, what is this safety and health committee about? I said, how many employees you have? Oh, we have 200 over employees, officers all over the country. I said, you don't have a safety and health committee? Yes, we don't have. I said, why you don't have? He said, we are not aware. So this makes a mockery of things. Government introduced a law, and yet government itself, the Ministry of Human Resource, is not able to ensure that all government departments, all government agencies fully comply with the Occupational Safety and Health Act. This is something I would say is terribly wrong. So anyway, the purpose of me here today is the fact that this is something which I woke up at about 5 a.m. in the morning. I just noted down some points which I want to share this with you. Now, you are coming here for this Occupational Safety and Health Coordinators training program. Of course, I'm not here, I'm not a trainer. I believe the trainer, he's the best person to tell you, what are the things that you require to know. But what I would like to tell you, to explain to you, is why OSH is important. Now, OSH, Occupational Safety and Health, or what we normally call work safety, it must be treated as an investment and not an expense. You know why I say this? Because, sad to say, that there are employers in the country, when you ask them to do things about safety and health, they always look at the figures. They always check, you know, this is so much I have to spend. I think if I can afford to cut down, I cut lah. You know, I mean, this is not really that important. To him, it is not important, but to the employees, it is certainly very important. So this attitude of looking at occupational safety and health as an expense and not as an investment is terribly wrong. And this is something which I have been trying to put across to employers, that please look at occupational safety and health as an investment. Because if you invest in it, you will benefit in the long run. You will benefit in terms of the productivity of your organization. Why I say the productive? Because if there are less accidents at the workplace, if there are less injuries, less accidents, your workers will be more productive. They can do more. They have a better, what we call in Malay, dia ada semangat lah, semangat yang lebih tinggi, yang lebih baik. Itu kerana apa? Kerana mereka tahu bahawa mereka ada seorang bos, seorang pihak majikan yang amat mementingkan keselamatan dan kesihatan pekerjaan. So this is the first point, is why OSH is so important, and this should really be addressed by the employers. And management or employers must recognize OSH of their employees as an integral part of business management. When you have a business, very important, you know, you have to look at the dollars and the cents. You know, you have to look at the returns. You have to look at the profit and the loss. Okay, I mean, that is all vitally important, we know, for any company. But the important thing for us to remember is this, that when they want to manage their business well, business management, to ensure that the business survives, to ensure that the business prospers, they must never forget that they must also manage the OSH issues, the occupational safety and health issues. Don't end up in a situation whereby you are only concerned about management of all things you need for the company, but you don't give much attention to the safety and health of the employees. So this is something which I hope that the employers will have a take for. Now, in any business and enterprise, the issue of preserving and retaining the employees is most urgent. Management must now step back and take a hard look at their asset and actively show how much they value their employees with a responsible OSH, the policy, backed up by the necessary organization and systems to implement accident prevention programs. Now, in any workplace, as I said, when you talk about safety and health, you must have a policy, especially, it's not only for the big industry, even the medium-sized one, they must have an OSH policy. They must have an OSH management system. How do you manage occupational safety and health issues? How do you monitor them? How do you ensure that you also take into consideration the needs to have an accident prevention program? Because as far as OSH is concerned, actually the most important part, as I said, you have the training, you have awareness, training, knowledge, and so on, which you all have to learn. But the most important thing is that you must ensure that there is a prevention. Because as you all know, having a prevention, a strategy is much better than allowing an accident to happen and then you talk about how to deal with the aftermath of the accident. That is too late already. So the message that I am trying to put across is this, that when it comes to business, when it comes to the employers, what they must remember is this: safety is good business. Safety is good business. Simple words. Safety is good business. Common sense tells us that safety is good business because if a company gives the priority to safety issues at the workplace, it will certainly be beneficial to the business, as I explained earlier, because less accidents, less injuries. The workers are happy to work because they know they are taken good care of. Of course, the wages and the terms of work condition, that is also important. Of course, now everybody, especially at this time, everybody is talking about what should be a fair wage to the employees. But yeah, these things are important. Wages are important, but at the same time, as I said, you know, don't forget that as an employer, you must also ensure that safety is something uppermost in your mind, and that will help you in the productivity of your organization. And companies must seek to adopt a work safety culture and do more to prevent or minimize accidents through good OSH practices. OSH education and training is of paramount importance, and employers must see training as an investment. Employers must see training as investment. Again, as I said, you know, very often when we invite, you know, industries to send their employees for a refresher course, or we just ask them to come to attend just a seminar so that they can gain more knowledge, so that they will be able to put that knowledge into practice. Again, the employers will ask, hey, you know, how much do I have to pay for an employee, you know, just to come to attend, you know, your seminar? Again, as I said, they look at it as a cost factor, which I think basically it is wrong. As I said, it must not be seen as a cost factor, but as an investment. And this, lastly, what I would like to say is this: there are many good industries in the country, as far as I know. For example, if you talk about the oil and gas, this industry, where Mr. Chin comes from, you know, the oil and gas, this industry, they really have very big investment in safety and health. Basically because they cannot afford a disaster. And this is something, as I see, that the big industries, the gigantic companies, for example, they do spend a lot of money on safety and health because they know what will be the consequences if they don't. But the medium-sized industries, and especially the small and medium-sized industries, is actually my area of concern, because medium-sized these industries as well as small SMEs, I think their knowledge of safety and health, I think, is still very low. The level is low, and I think there's a lot that needs to be done. And this is the reason why, as far as Ikatan is concerned, we are encouraging actually more SMEs to come forward, you know, to learn more about safety and health at the workplace. And we are also trying to encourage the employers, please readjust your thinking about safety and health, that it is a cost but not an investment. So these are things that we are trying to reach out, you know, to the industries, especially the SMEs. And this safety coordinator course that we are doing today is part of our overall effort to reach out to the small, medium enterprises. And of course, it's not easy. As I said, we know there are many challenges involved, and largely because of the COVID-19 pandemic that's affected many industries. And of course, we realize how serious you know, the pandemic was, and how it so badly impacted upon the industries. But we hope that as things start to improve, we hope that there will be a major shift, you know, in the thinking of SMEs, that instead of just focusing on how they should manage their business well, to get more business, to get more profits. At the same time, they will not lose sight of the importance of safety and health and start to invest in safety. I believe this safety coordinator course, I think, will be a good start, I think, for all of you. I think basically, as I said, you know, there are things that it can be done and it must be done. And your role, when you go back, you know, after this training, when you go back fully equipped with the knowledge and understanding which you can arrive at, and at the same time, as I said, if there are doubts, there are issues, questions you'd like to answer, you'd like to seek an answer, please you direct them to our trainer, so that we want you to leave this place fully convinced that you know the basics of safety and health, how important a role that you can play as a safety coordinator. You will gain more knowledge, you will learn more skills, and you can be the champion for safety in your organization. And by implementing what you can learn from here, you will actually, very important, you remember this, you will actually be protecting lives, and you'll be helping to prevent accidents at your workplace, among your colleagues. And that is something which is very noble, which is something great that you can do. And you can get good this karma if you believe in it. So your dedication, I think your commitment, I would use the word commitment. You see, if you want to learn something, it's just not a matter of just learning. After having learned it, what is important, you must put it into practice. If you learn something you don't put in practice, it's no use. So, as I said, this requires a commitment to put into practice what you have learned from this safety coordinator course. And when you go back to your workplace, you will help to put it into practice, you will help to implement it. And remember, the little things that you can do in your office, the little things that you can do in your workplace will have a lasting impact, on the lives of your colleagues in your company, in your organization. So in other words, you are not only learning to be the champions of safety, you are also learning to be influencers. You know the word influencer. You know, today in the business, there are so many, you know, influencers around. They help to influence. And I think they are paid very well, some of these influencers, to help to influence people to buy homes, to buy houses, to buy commercial products. So in a way, you can be an influencer. Your role as an influencer to promote safety and health at the workplace, and also promote safety and health among your other friends. So your other friends can go back to their companies, to their organization, and tell their bosses, hey boss, please do something to improve the safety of our organization. So this role that you can play is very, very important. And of course, by doing all this, what is the final objective? The final objective is that you will be able to embrace safety and health. And by being able to embrace safety and health, it will not only mean a lot to you, it will mean a lot to your friends, your colleagues. It will also mean a lot to our country. Now, why I say the country? Because I personally feel that to make safety and health a sustainable culture in our country, we cannot depend on government alone. We cannot depend on government. We have to depend on the private sector. We have to depend on all employers. We have to depend on employees themselves. That means every one of you who is an employee, you can help. You can help to make a difference. You can help to bring about a sustainable safety culture in our beloved Malaysia. If you believe in it, if you are passionate about it, and I'm sure you are, because at the end of the day, it is your life, it is your loved ones that you must care for. This is the message I want to convey today. And I think with this note, I would now like to formally officiate this 3-day safety coordinator course for both employees here in
KL Selangor as well as in Segamat. And I would like to thank all of you. I would thank the companies, I would thank the bosses for being so understanding, being so kind, being so generous to be able to sponsor you to be here. And of course, my thanks also to the AJIA and also to Roof Asia, to Asia Roof. I think for this sponsoring, I'm not mistaken, about 19 employees to attend the course in this Segamat. And I really hope that you will find this course useful, because at the end of the day, you remember, it is all about your life. It is all about your safety. It is all about your health. It is about your future well-being. Thank you very much.